Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Doing a little mic check. I want to make sure the music's not too loud. I forgot I had that. Do you guys, has anyone watched stream long enough to know that I have like a really cringeworthy theme song? Oh geez. Also look at chat. This is no good. Oh, did you detect that I was starting stream? So you decided to make a fuss? Give me a sec here. That's okay. Chat box can be bigger. I allow it. Hello Shagu, Haxer, Spigot. Good to see you're all here. Onega, I saw you earlier in chat as well. Hope everyone's doing. I'm gonna feed the cat. I'm sorry. I can't broadcast in these situations. I wonder if he's hungry enough to actually. Got a treat. Would you be interested? You could say hello to stream. Yeah, then I'll actually feed you. Oh, what's that? You still don't like being held? Okay, I'll put you down. Alright, be right back. I'm gonna feed him. It's like he has a... Cats are very clever creatures, and they know when you will feed them, and he knows that when I stream, I'm going to feed him, so... it is what it is. Sorry. So I was saying, I'm like morbidly curious how cringy this is. Hold on. I also, be careful, this might be loud. I thought it was much more rock and roll. Yeah, I did actually have a theme song. It's still in here. AI needs to be stopped. Okay, that's enough of that. That still exists. That still exists. Oh, Shagu, you're in both places. I love it. I love the engagement. So, as I've been doing in previous weeks, I'm going to go through news stories. I'll stop between news stories if anyone wants to ask any questions, and then we can kind of have it out about that subject. If you want to talk about something after the news, we could talk about it after the news. Like most of my news programs, it's going to be top news, market watch, community bulletin, and changelog roundup. That's kind of my normal thing. Shagu, it kind of is a good dinosaur, I'm not going to lie. Okay. So, this is the news for February 4th, 2025. Our big story this week, the Lunar Festival. It's here. It's going to be here until February 12th, which is going to feel a lot more like February 11th to some of the US people, but keep that in mind that that's usually lined up with a server reset. So enjoy the festivities while you can, and of course we're gonna talk about a little bit about how the rollout went for this year's Lunar Festival. It was the year of the snake, and initially Omen was redesigned the visuals were redesigned to make Omen look like a snake. Now, if you're looking at the scale of this snake, I think this might have been part of the initial problem, because that is indeed Omen. I think I grabbed this somewhere from the Discord. And if you see the scale of the humanoid skeletons around it, if you fought Omen, you would also know that Omen has little minions he pops out, which are much smaller than him. This caused some issues, because those little minions were like microscopic. And I don't know if they're gonna try to fix this and try to just like make it bigger snake, or if it was more trouble than it was worth. I like the attempt. I like the theming around a snake, the year of the snake. I'm sure to the SEA servers where Lunar New Year's is a much bigger deal, because that lines up with the Chinese New Year, I'm sure this was very much appreciated. But it was a good attempt. Of course, we just have the regular dog now. I actually took the screen cap from I fought Omen on my last stream. Had a good time there. He's just the normal doggo again. You know. And there was I don't think there's anything else that had to be rectified with the Lunar Festival. I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure most things are just back to normal. There's still new stuff, but here's one of the big new things. If you remember last week's stream when we did the news, I kind of wanted to see what was going on. Some of it wasn't out yet. It was waiting for server reset. I did find some time to look at some of the stuff. Some of this I even did on stream. And so one of the big ones is this Lysandra Skysoar is an NPC in Moonglade who you can pick up a quest. She'll just ask you to go do a dangerous dungeon, which is kind of interpretive, but I did get from the team exactly which dungeons you can do. I was told Ubers, Lower Blackrock Spire, Dire Mall. I don't know if this means all wings, but I'm assuming it does. Skolo, Strat, same thing with, I'm assuming it means dead and live. Stormwind Vaults, Kara Crypts, and Black Morass. The cool thing is that you can turn in this lunar token you'll get from the final boss of each respective dungeon to get a Lunar Festival gift box. You get those also from killing Omen, and I think from the Spirit of Wisdom when you do the little treasure hunt to find them in Dustwallow Marsh. So, cool thing about them is that it's sort of like a little RNG loot box. You can get cool T-Mog items. If you're unlucky like me, you're going to get a bunch of fireworks. There might be things in there I don't know about, so it has made the festival a little bit more exciting, I'd say. I like the addition. And, yeah, I didn't want to spoil anything about the Spirit of Wisdom because it seemed like a treasure hunt kind of thing and for explorers, so, you know, I am pretty sure there is a breadcrumb quest somewhere in Moonglade that can help you to lead you to find where the Spirit of Wisdom is in Dustwallow Marsh. I don't think it's a simple thing where you just find the spirit and then you get like a token or anything. So, you know, enjoy that. Explorers, people who like discovering stuff, have a blast. The next top story we have is, of course, this last week, the guild housing thing. I don't know if I want to call it like it. Guild housing isn't exactly what it is. It's allowing guilds to have the ability to use their tabard to a Hearthstone. I have a little bit of the, like from the week before, they had on Twitter, it looked like it was going to be 3,000 gold, and when it was rolled out, it ended up even 5,000 gold. So I'm going to do like sort of the concerning stuff about this, or like the not great stuff. and then I'm going to do like the positives, and then I have like one other odd story about this. But yeah, a lot of people were a little bent out of shape, kind of feeling like the 3K gold became 5K. For some, it's a big deal. For others, not so much. But that is what happened. And from most of my interacting with the community, asking people about this story, it would seem like the most negatively affected section of the servers who are really not happy about this is the smaller guilds and RP guilds. Coming up with 5K in gold, or the requisite amount of turtle tokens, might not be so easy. Especially the RP guilds, many of who don't really play much in PvE, so they're not like farming for gold. And on top of that, changing the guild tabard from free to 1 gold also affects them disproportionately if you think about it, because they have less gold to go around. And so something that used to be like a nice amenity for them to show like their pride for their RP guild or what have you kind of is taken away, or not really taken away as much as just kind of had like an extra hurdle to get to. But yeah, that was sort of the negative side of the story. I looked into more stuff. I got some stuff from the team about it. And what's interesting here is from the Turtle team, from like some of their inside sources, I did get that as of yesterday, about 40 guilds have the charters, so they have the ability to tabard to a tabard or a Hearthstone location. And that same person estimated about 150,000 gold was sunk, which really helps the economy, especially on Nordinar servers that's been around technically since late 2018. That's a long time for a server to be around. There's plenty of gold floating around in the economy. Something like this does actually make small noticeable dents and helps with like deflationary pressures. This isn't purely the economic portion of the show, but I do think that is a net positive. And of course, the good thing overall is that there's been a lot of guilds who rightfully wanted to be able to use a tabard to go somewhere. The old legacy guilds that have guild bases have had this advantage for a long time. And now at least that evens the playing field a little bit. And, guilds that joined in like mid 2023 have been around for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's nice that they kind of get to be brought into the fold a little bit more. So I like that aspect of it. And also one weird story about this. I saw this and I could not let it go. So this was like a near miss. And right as the item that you could purchase at like the emissary place where you get tabards, for a short amount of time, I don't know the exact amount of hours it was available, but people in the community became aware that you could, the item itself, you could vendor for 1,000 gold, which normally isn't a big issue if you're just buying it with gold. However, remember this is also on the store, like on their donation shop. So because of that, and you can see here a small back and forth with the support staff where I found a conversation. There was a screenshot I had, but I don't think I saved it, that showed that like indeed it was vendoring for 1,000. So this wasn't that long, but it was interesting because there was like a small window of time where Turtle WoW like accidentally had a WoW token. Like, essentially it was about like $95 for 1,000 gold. So I'm glad they stopped that right away. But it's good for. I always want to let the team know, the community know, I'm looking for this kind of stuff, and it's now been rectified. Now it's like it vendors for like something silly. It's super small, so if you buy it, you better want it because you're not going to get your money back. So, but I was happy to see the team rectify this pretty quickly, and I had a good chuckle about it. So, so that was the saga of the guild charters, and the last bit I have for top news that I would really like to touch on, because generally for top news, if you listen to my radio broadcast, I really like mentioning content that's being teased. I mean, no, this isn't going to be about Kara 40 because they just haven't said anything about Kara 40 other than they're working on it. But this came out last week on their the official Twitter, and anyone who knows the lore, whether retail lore or old Warcraft lore, you'll kind of recognize this here as looks very much like Kilrogg Deadeye. Now, what's interesting here about this is in the lore for TBC in retail, Kilrogg, I believe, goes or you find him again in Outlands. However, in Warcraft, I did look up wikis and stuff. It's left a lot more vague. And this quote here is a bit more hopeful. The new horde, though it became the lifeblood of both me and my people, has abandoned me, but I will not abandon them. Okay, but I think everyone's asking, where is this, So I think that's very fascinating, very intriguing. I know all the lore fans are losing their mind about this kind of stuff, and gotta admit, I am kind of too. Exactly. I see Blessed says, Kilrogg Redemption Arc. Exactly. And to go along with that, and maybe even a clue as to where this is, there was another tease on the Twitter. Just says, a fortress lost to war, reclaimed by darkness. Now, I went a little crazy on this because I wanted to really figure out where this Alliance soldier is from. And the best I could figure out was that the thing on his tabard is a hippocampus, which is a half horse, half seahorse creature, which lends me to believe that it's ocean side. It's not Kulturas, right? But it's likely some kind of seafaring humans. And so we have that, but the image of the human is very much like this is a ghost. But I find that interesting juxtaposed against this citadel that looks like there's living fires in it, and there's banners that are up. So I don't know what kind of, if it's an abandoned fortress, but it's haunted. The statue there is kind of on a tilt. I'm not sure what to make of this. I saw in the discussion in that Twitter thread, some people were saying it could be Tol Barad or Baylor, I think, had been bandied about. I'm not honestly sure. I think if I actually went back into the dev channels and snooped around, I could probably figure it out, but I'm not in any particular rush to spoil stuff for myself. I think it's really cool because both Kilrogg Deadeye and regardless of where this is, it's very much bringing back Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3 lore and kind of putting it front and center and sort of finishing off some of the storylines that were just kind of left out to dry. So I'm very interested to see where this next patch if this is in the next patch goes. I don't know if this is like for the patch after. I know what many people on the server are waiting for is essentially what comes with Kara. So is this coming with Kara or not? We don't know. We'll find out. But that's what I had for top news. And thank you, Gruzel, for the follow. Any questions about that? Any commentary? Anyone have any insight into where those places were? I mean, I went through the Kilrog Deadeye wiki, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, he was with Gul'dan at some point, and then he, like, wasn't. Nitsuke, that is correct. Kara 40 is not released yet. My understanding is that the plan for the rollout for Kara 40, because it involved the class change patch, was that they were going to keep Kara 40 locked, essentially, while the rest of the patch is still active. And they wanted to do work to get the class balance issues dealt with, the stuff that was broken, stuff that wasn't working, etc. And then when it reaches their point of, okay, good enough, then the idea is to release Kara 40. That's as much as I know as someone who's asked the questions, and that's what I've been able to relay to everyone else. I hope Kara 40 doesn't come. I want the client. Kara 40 could ruin the server's rep. The client won't. I mean, the client is not something that's gonna be happening before Kara 40. I can say that confidently. I don't fully know where everything is with Turtle WoW 2.0, but I do know that its stage of development is not as done as Kara 40 is. So I think we're gonna Kara 40 first. But I think it's fine, because they were talking about and teased Kara 40 long before they even mentioned Turtle WoW 2.0. So I think from a chronological point of view, that makes more sense. Nitsuke says, also, it makes the most sense to be Kilrog Deadeye because the retcon lore from Warcraft 3 manual on the wiki says he survived the clash with the Alliance forces. Interesting. Okay. Spigot says, not only is the client not coming before Kara 40, but Turtle WoW 2.0 is more likely to come out after Grimbatol. Yeah, I think that might be the case, Spigot. Blessed says, my money is on Mr. I is stationed on the road leading up to Grimbatol or the new island. That could very well be. I think the story, if I remember, like, the story I think kind of left him marooned on an island, but I don't know if I followed it that well, so. Icy Grill says, Kara 40 could ruin everything. I'm not sure how you come to that conclusion. I think the Turtle team's definitely taking their steps more boldly into Vanilla Plus territory. I think there is some concern overall in the server community in the different realms that, you know, having a tier 3.5 is gonna make things kind of even more strong and make current content less relevant. And I at least know the team is in some way, shape, or form aware of the fact that class changes and gear changes have made a lot of the content kind of easy in both leveling and even at the higher end. So I think that's a fair assessment, but yeah, Nax is properly epic, and I do agree with you that for Karazhan to properly fill the role of a 40-man raid that feels somehow of or at the level of Naxxramas, I think that is a difficult design challenge. And since I've been on the server for a good while, I've seen the developers and their team get more people and get more skilled people. So, for instance, when I first joined the server, they had Black Morass, but it was terrible, and no one wanted to do it, and it wasn't fun. The Black Morass we have now is actually low-key one of my favorite dungeons to do. So, if we assume that they're improving, which, you know, I'm an optimistic sort, so I understand when people are not optimistic, but I am optimistic. I think they can also take lessons from, you know, perceived failures in Emerald Sanctum or Lower Kara and take those and apply those lessons elsewhere. You have to remember, too, they did have plans and designs for Scarlet Citadel, and they scrapped that because they didn't think it was good enough. So, you know. Yeah, exactly. Like, Black Morass is a complete redesign of the old Black Morass, and it's pretty good. Okay. All right. So, with that little aside, if you don't care about auction house and market economics, go get a drink of water. We're doing... Wait a minute, where is it? We're doing Market Watch next. So strap in. Who doesn't love Market Watch? Half my audience. So, this last week, I normally start on Telebim. So, for Market Watch, on Telebim, the difference between the Alliance and the Horde, it seems like they kind of had like similar weeks, but when you look at the numbers on the left, the Horde started really pulling ahead in value, which is, you know, they had about a month of relative parity where they've been about a gold from each other, and technically they're still within that margin, but I feel like both markets are going up, but I think the Horde market's going to start pulling ahead again. Now, one place where you can see some of the differences in the market here is with the Blasted Lands buff index. So this is like Blasted Boarlung, Scorpok Pincers, Basilisk Brain. It's all of those ones mixed into one. What I found that was interesting here was that even though the Alliance market seems to be on the lower side, what we do see is that the Alliance Blasted Land buff index has been actually moving up pretty steadily, whereas the Horde index version of it just kind of shows your normal, oh hey, January 31st, that's like near when everyone was raiding on the server, and then it went back down in price. So the implication here is that there's likely more raiders or even raid loggers on Alliance side, which could be driving up the prices because it shows that Horde's continuing to farm to keep the prices down, whereas maybe there isn't as many on Alliance. Either way, really good opportunity for market arbitrage if you're into that kind of thing. But in that same vein, materials don't matter as much for raiders, like things with mining. They seem to affect the market in similar ways. Now here, the Horde market is still oddly much more valuable than the Alliance market for the same materials, but they're showing very similar trends, which is showing that like things that aren't involved with raiders like directly is they do seem to have the same trend on either side, even if the market prices are off a little bit. And this definitely shows that there's probably not enough miners on the Horde side. It's been an interesting thing to follow Telebim because unlike Nordinar, I've been able to gather data on Telebim from like its beginning. So it's been very fun for me. Over on Nordinar, you'll actually, if you look where the blue line starts and the blue line ends, it was like a tiny bit up. The trend line is indicating it's going up, but even at that, even if it matched the trend line, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And this is going along with a kind of a much longer story that's been going on Northern, which is these prices are ridiculously low. Remember, the S&P 200 index is like a bunch of really in-demand, like either high volume or high cost items that are very regularly traded. And basically, since late October, it's just been going down, and this is pretty much as much data as I have just for the S&P 200 for Northern. So, optimistically, and if I go back to January a little bit too, it goes down a little bit, but it doesn't go down this low, and it doesn't last for this long. So I'm curious what this means. I know a lot of times the easy answer for this would be like, oh, there's just less people on the server, but I did see confirmation about inside sources saying this last weekend had over 8,000 people on Northern, which is like a decent, really good population, where some points of here didn't have 8K. So it is curious. One other thing to note too, granted, the guild charter thing happened right about here, but because of the guild charter and a gold sink, there could be even more deflationary pressures. So if you're a consumer on Northern, your gold is worth more and more by the day, it would seem. You have more purchasing power, and if you are a farmer, it's tougher and tougher to make huge stacks of money. But it's also a good thing. Deflation is a good thing on a server that doesn't have like a way for much money to just vanish. So it's good to see. However, despite me saying all that, I have two examples of places where farming's still really, really valuable. And there's actually signs that there's not enough of it being done. So this is the 1 week Essence and Elements market. This is all of your elemental air, water, earth, fire, that kind of stuff. Core of earth, heart of fire, and then the essence of fire, essence of water, all of those all put together. And the market for this went up 20%, which is substantial. And definitely worth looking into. Now, I did break down the index and looked at which parts of the index really had this big growth, and I found two. For some reason, well, actually, I do know why now, but Essence of Earth and Essence of Water had huge double-digit percentage jumps right towards the end of the week. Granted, these charts on the left are 2 weeks, as I was trying to look for more trends to see what was going on. And what I'm finding, because I looked on WoW auctions to be I have this data too, I don't have a good way to chart it, but they'd show how many available auctions are on the auction house, which is sort of like your supply side. And regularly, Essence of Earth and Essence of Water will have hundreds, but both of them at the same time here, they had double-digit amounts, and in both cases fell under 30. And what this tells me is that there is a pretty noticeable market shortage. So, if you're a farmer and you're looking to make some good coin, keep an eye on the Essence and Elements. I always say this, and I think it's a great way to make cash. They regularly sell well, and sometimes you can really cash in with stuff like this. So, and another interesting one that caught me off guard when I was looking at the data was the eco. Now, many of you probably, if you've done any raiding, if you've if you've quested in Winterspring, you're probably aware of this. Eco can be turned into Juju, and Juju has like a lot of nice buffs. There's one for strength, attack power, frost resistance, fire resistance, attack speed, dodge, and int. And so this little index I have follows all of those. There's some that are generally much more in demand for the purposes of rating, but these are 4 of what I would consider the more popular ones. I mean, you can see based on their relative price and how quickly up and down they go. I know up and down doesn't mean a lot, but that generally indicates that there's a larger amount of trading volume happening, and sometimes, but the price variance here isn't enough to really move the index up if you take a look, and none of them are like shooting up at the end. So I was kind of thrown off by this. So Winterfall is the one that does strength. Shardtooth makes the fire resistance, so a lot of people that are progging Molten Core, Blackwing Lair like these. Frost Saber, I believe, is the attack power one. And Frost Maul, you'll see that one's worth a lot more. That one you have to kill elite giants to get. But its price has actually been trending down. The culprit was Ice Thistle. It completely caught me. And like, I cannot illustrate to you enough how ridiculous this price jump is. There's really only 2 things that can cause a price jump like this. And based on the volumes I was seeing, this wasn't just market manipulation. So this whole period of time, there were like in the orders of hundreds of the eco available to use. This is the one you use for frost resistance, which if you get into like the nitty gritty, it's not that big of a deal. Saffron's frost aura doesn't hit as hard in Turtle WoW as it might have in Classic or Vanilla. And, you might want it for KT, but you normally don't need tons. So this normal price point is where it's been at. And then right here, it wasn't like someone bought 10,000 of them and then said, this is the new price. Literally, the market ran out, which is very rare for Nordinar for that to happen. So this is another spot where if you're farming stuff, throw it up on the auction house. Not only will it help prices be stable, but if you're particularly savvy, you can wait for moments like this and be like, I'm not going to sell it for 18 silver. I want to wait for this guy to think he's going to sell it for a gold, and I'm just going to sell it 60 silver, easy. That's triple your normal profits and almost guaranteed sales. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's plenty of work for farmers out there to do. It's not all profession doom and gloom. And that's what I had for this week's Market Watch. Let's take a look at what people were blabbing on about. Jonathan Tran says, fishing still makes the most money in general. I think... fishing's really hit and miss. Fishing requires a good amount of discipline and knowing when to sell fish. It helps if you have an alchemist friend who can make the oils and stuff, because sometimes you can get better markups. But fishing, I would say, is probably the most reliable. Herbalism's always going to be great, but herbalism's been undercut by the fact that people can farm herbs in lasher farms. So herbs will always carry value. There's some, though, that are carrying more value than normal lately, and that's been Dreamfoil and Fade Leaf. I don't think I have those charts ready right now. I could draw them up after, but the reason for Dreamfoil is that of the things that lashers drop, they actually don't drop a lot of Dreamfoil, and there are Dreamfoil nodes in Dire Mall East for people doing jump runs, but not everyone doing them is an herbalist. And the amount that the market needs of Dreamfoil is outpacing what the Lasher farmers are coming up with. So if you're an herbalist, I would suggest trying to look for Dreamfoil spots or Fade Leaf spots. Same situation there, but that's for mostly shadow protection potions. And yeah, it's fishing's, I would always say, is somewhat reliable. It's probably better gold at lower levels because you can just find pools while you're leveling. So yeah. Let's see. Jared M says that's even allowed. I mean, I've been scraping data from WoW auctions with the creator's permission for years now at this point. So yeah, it's allowed. Turtle WoW recession. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The thing is that this isn't like a recession in this sense might not even be a bad thing. You know, go take a look at what things are worth on botted and RMT servers. It's fine. We're doing great. If prices want to come down, that's a good sign, and that does genuinely mean that the team's doing a lot to combat that stuff, and we're starting to see the fruits of that, so that you can go do a couple dungeons and have enough money to, like, maybe get some of your consumables for raid later, or, you know, get some cool transmog items without, like, breaking the bank, or, you know what I mean? So in this sense, a recession's good. server B must be the server tariffs. Oh, it's been a great week to be an American. Haxor, I'm not playing Voices of the Void. Lizzie Babs, don't encourage them. Don't encourage Haxor. I see Nitsuke is theorizing about Grom Hellscream in Grimbatol. I am not well versed enough in the lore to know or to venture even an educated guess, but I believe you. Yep. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed Lizzie Babs as I revealed to you the truth. Did devs ever mention if they wanted to give Juju Guile a purpose? It does have a purpose. How dare you, Spigot? I have been raiding as an elemental shaman for a long time. Juju Guile has two purposes. One is for elemental shaman. Resto shaman as well. Actually, probably just all shaman. Here's what happens. You die in raid. It's going to happen. The mage is going to look at their mana bar and go, do I want to buff them with int again? But I like my mana. And then you don't get int buff. Then you use Juju Guile. It's one less than the buff they're going to give you. It didn't cost any mana. Second reason for having Juju Guile. And listen, this is a pro tip if you're looking to make some extra coin. Go do, and I know you might not want to, you'd be like, oh, Norden RT's so much quicker to get. You just need a Dream Shard. Oh, this is so easy. Yes, that's true. However, go do the tea with sugar quests. Have your Cache of Maori on you. You're going to have to kill a bunch of boomkins. You're going to get a bunch of what you would consider a useless eco. Have you ever checked the vendor value of Juju? You should go do that. It's pretty valuable. Now, it's not game breaking, but you do a couple T runs, you just like added like another 5, maybe 6 gold just from doing T runs. Whereas if you do Norden RT, you have to spend money to get the shards, or you farm them, and that takes time too. So either way, if you're gonna do it, you might as well make some coin. So Juju Guile, do not get rid of it. Hello, Sonic. That is true. They do have limits. Are the class council dev chats still active? They are considerably less active, but the class council channels are still being used to communicate further design implementation and gearing questions. I mean, if there was word about town that for a small period of time there was a database leak that had everything that was going to be in Kara, right? So some people were like, hey, you put this on this gear. The class counselors, they do have the advantage of like knowing that devs do look in these chats every now and then, and they could be like, hey, like this might not be a good idea, or like I think like you might have undervalued this. So they're still active. They're not nearly as active as they were when they were actively engaging in the design process. So things right now are much more finding pain points that exist and working together with the team on that. Grom is super dead? Like, you mean like Grom's blood? I believe it. Nitsuki, again, I believe you. I just don't know enough about the lore. Grays in Black Morass are underrated penny pinching mechanic. Oh, right, yeah. That's actually been around for a while. You can get those, if you're like me and like finding creative ways of making gold, I believe the dragons in Black Morass drop condensed mana fragments, or at least the arcane elementals there do. They drop the same ones as are dropped in Dire Maul West. The condensed mana fragments have like an obscenely high gray vendor value. So, yeah, you're right. That's actually a good way of making some gold. All right. I'm all caught up on chat. Oh, wait, hold on. Ploxin. So playing on Nordinar as a Telebim enjoyed it. I noticed here early leveling that a lot of mats doesn't have a lot of postings, but do have a lot of bid only. Is that a trend and why? So I can answer that question, Ploxin. There's so my understanding, I could be incorrect, but this is something that a lot of Chinese players do, where you can use the auction house as a de facto bank to store stuff. And I don't know if it's just Chinese players, because I remember this did happen before Chinese players really frequented the server. So maybe it's like a European thing too. I don't know, but I used to see that and be pretty curious myself. But essentially, some items don't even have a deposit amount. Those are ideal to put on there. But you can also just put items in there. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell and it comes back to you. And I think you get your deposit back. So you can essentially use the auction house if you want to bother with the hassle as an additional bank. So I think that's what's going on there. Everyone is stocking up on arcane essence right now, so it's probably a healthy place to make money at the moment. Hunters can get pretty far solo. Yep, that's true. I think some of the leaks did say that like arcane essence was going to be utilized in the tier 3.5 turn-ins, much like your war-torn scrap is. So it's a very volatile game. A lot of speculation. I generally don't advise people to get involved in that unless you're holding a bunch and want to make a bunch of gold. Okay, so Jared M., I have no idea why they do that then. That's what I've been told multiple times. Imagine someone buy my 500 dream foil I'm storing in auction house for 200 gold a stack. I mean, I don't know. All right, moving on with the news. Where's my next thing? Not that one. We'll be moving on to the community bulletin. I didn't actually have a circle logo for community bulletin stuff. So I've always just used the seal of approval with the little orc face. Here it is. First up so just as a reminder too, community bulletin is stuff about community stuff. That's not really team related stuff. It's stuff that's for us, mostly made by us and enjoyed by us. So yeah, that's generally how I try to shape this part of the program. And first up, very exciting news. In the speedrunning community, Mortality finally got first place in Naxxramas, which means they have first place in every other raid. Kudos to them. I've talked to some of their leadership, and they've been trying for this for a while. And if you've done any speedrunning, even if you've just done Naxxramas, an hour 10 is bonkers quick, and kind of impressive. If you ever want to check out this, search the forums for Speedrun archive by Vida, the goat. You can view these VODs now. You can watch the video replay. Stuff that gets posted here, I believe, is verified with public video nowadays. So I thought that was really interesting, and also just thought I'd show off the current leaderboard. Now, I wanted to screen grab like the top 10 in each of these raids, but not to talk about Mortality more, because Lord knows they love talking about themselves. But some interesting things to note here. Titan 8th Legion is in 4th place. This is a guild from the SEA realms. They don't show up very often on Vida's little spreadsheet, but I'm really encouraged to see that there are raid teams that are actively competing in speedrun records, because more competition is just going to make it interesting and more fun. So I think that's great. Something else worthy of note, Only Friends has a really good Molten Core, a really good Blackwing Lair, and they're working on AQ40 records. I mean, I think they're a new up-and-comer. It's great to see them. Another thing to note too is that you can see a lot of these new records have been made in this year, and there's a lot of names here I don't recognize, and I'm excited about that. That means there's a lot of activity going on. So that's just good news all over. And of course, as always, Vida, the GOAT, for making this all happen. I think it'll be exciting when Kara 40 finally does get released. We'll have the opportunity to see who's going to get the world's first. You know, it's such an easy content thing. I got to do it too. I know I got to do it, but I think it's going to be pretty hype. As hype as anything could be on Turtle WoW. Ploxon, I'll get to your stuff later. I have no idea what that's about. Next up is RP community postings. Top one. I talked about the Gurubashi Empire stuff last week. I was personally really excited about it because I love the idea of roleplay PvP, which this group's really interested in doing. And the concept around their stuff really fit with like what my troll mage is. So my mage quit my, Blackwing Guard and actually joined up with them. I don't know if I'll be able to make any events, but if you are at all interested in troll RP or are sympathetic to the idea of the Gurubashi Empire rising again, check out those guys. They're really cool. And probably the most heartwarming story of the day, Nightsong Sentinels. They're having an event on the 8th, so that's, I believe that's this weekend. Hold on, where's my mouse? Yeah, should be this weekend. And it's to commemorate Omen going away from Moonglade, ushering in a bunch of night elf stuff. I'm not really that into night elves. However, I still would like to go to something like this. Check out the event posting, and here's why I would encourage anyone who's even remotely interested in going. They're gonna have like vendors and like performances and stuff. But the goal of it is to raise funds to get other guilds their guild tabard. Now, my understanding is that Nightsong Sentinels, they've done like a little bit of PvE content, and they had some money in the bank. They could actually afford a tabard. But some of the less fortunate, maybe newer RP guilds, they're helping to fund them to get a tabard hearth location. So if you got gold, I mean, it would mean a lot to those fine roleplay folk if you donated anything. Think about it. If not, find your local RP flavor of choice and donate. I'm sure they'd be happy for it. Ask if they have a guild tabard first. So some of them do raid and don't need it, but some of the other ones do need it. And so, yeah. Other RP postings. Lions Pride Legion, they're always doing something. They are very much like a bread and butter Knight of the Alliance kind of vibe, but they're cool people. I noticed, technically Swords of Lothar isn't new, but I've never heard about the House of Buckland. Those guys are always doing cool stuff. And also, I saw a posting by the Scarlet Legion, which is, they're a bit of a pariah in the RP community, but they're also like just bad guys in lore too. So I think there's something for every flavor of anything you guys want to do as far as roleplay. So always check it out, and if not, support them. Find a way to support them. Roleplay community is like the backbone of the community. They started this whole thing back when it was purely really just roleplay, and they make the world a lot more alive than you actually think. So trust me on that. One final community bulletin point. Dan from the radio reminded me that there are new radio programs that are going to be out. They're either out now or they will be out shortly. But for Valentine's Day, there's going to be the Eat Meats and More Than Swords. Eat Meats, I believe, is a continuation of another story, and the More Than Swords, I believe, is a parody song. The radio team, like, they actually have actual musicians and voice actors and stuff, so tune into that stuff, and if you like what you're hearing, let them know. They literally, like, their only job is to just make fun, interesting content, so I mean, give them a shout out. It's worth it. And also, if you are keen on listening to the normal Living in the Past broadcast by Dan, he also let me know that the most recent one will be up on January, or the one from January 4th is going up today. So enjoy that. And that's all we had for the community bulletin. Maticus says we want Shibiji back. Do you, though? Do you? Yes, exactly, Ploxin. So all the records you see on the 1.17.2, they all had to happen during this patch because the leaderboard was reset. Let's see. We want SP all over the Hunter tier 3 set. Let's be real here. Hold on, wait. Hunters want spell power? What? What? Okay. All right, you do you. I'm not gonna tell you how to enjoy your game. I didn't think hunters want spell power. Do they want spell power? I didn't think they do. You guys just got melee hunter. Enjoy that. It's Biss? Spell power is Biss? No, you know what? No, you don't. Listen, I say this as an elemental shaman. No. If it's male and has spell power, that's not for you, that's for me. And Coletius, I'm sure you know I've done rogue tanking. I'm not a stranger to meme builds, don't get me wrong. I'm still actively trying to convince my raid lead to let me do a really, really bad idea of a subtlety buffing rogue in raid. I don't think he's gonna let me. Explosive trap nukes on 100 plus mobs are funny. Spigot, let me tell you. Just wait till you see what a fire nova totem does. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna tell you to not let your freak flag fly, but if I see a hunter look at some male gear that has spell power on it and goes, maybe I should have that, we're gonna have issues. It's bad enough I got the paladins honing in on it going, oh, I don't know, maybe I can use that for red. I think melee hunter is melee hunter, I'm not gonna lie, is the closest I've come to actually wanting to play hunter. Cause I wanna make like a Rexar and have like a big bear. Really, Spigot, I didn't know. So I understand that subtlety rogue was helpful for buffing. Like if you go into like a real big melee pumper group, if you can get 2 or 4% crit and expose weakness with preparation, maybe doubling it during like some kind of a execution phase, could be really nice. I think there's also the blinding powder that when it goes off makes your next ability do a bunch more damage. I think all that stacked on top of each other, it's pretty good. I still don't know if it's worth the damage I would lose. Now, mind you, Vrograg isn't like some scrub rogue. Like he is like, he's very close to Biss. So I could see that being really helpful if you're like gearing up as a rogue and you're trying to help out your team. But like Vrograg showing up with a Thunder Fury, it kind of feels weird to be like, hold on guys, I'm gonna do something really dumb. I could be doing good damage, but I could do this. Mark of Death, prep, Mark of Death. Again, yeah, exactly, son. I not only that, you have to remember too, with the crit aura thing, enhancement shaman, they get great value out of crit. Warriors get great value out of crit. Rogues, not so much. But I think if you can get in a group with some of those, I really think it could do numbers. Sorry. Great big meme that actually made me laugh and I hate you for it. Are we going to do Madman gear inspection ratings? I don't know what that is. I do miss Armory though. I think devs should make it so that the Mark of Death has no chance to miss. Oh, it has a chance to miss? Oh no, I didn't know about that. I know Mark for Death gives you 2 combo points, which is pretty cool, but oh, I couldn't imagine missing with that. It's like a, what's it? It's like a 3-minute cooldown. Yeah, I think it's 3 minutes. Oh, that would hurt. Could you imagine like I just press Blade Flurry? It's like nope, doesn't work. I'd be like, oh. Exactly. That's exact. It's like missing with Soulfire. You spend all that time, and then Or if you're a fire mage and you get a bunch of stacks of, I forget what it's called. The stacks that make your pyroblast a lot quicker to cast, and then you finally cast a pyroblast and it gets full resisted, you're like, Ugh. Exactly. It is hot streak. Vanilla RNG gods do not bless sometimes. It's true. It's true. You take the good with the bad. We're gonna take a quick look at last week's changelog. I will double check, but I do not believe the new one's out yet. If it is, let me know in chat. I'm just checking here in their server status. They've been publishing them early lately, so it's been nice for me to do this kind of a program, then do a preview of the new one. I reviewed this last week. I don't know if I have a ton of new stuff to bring to the fore about this. How am I doing on that? Okay, that looks good. They removed deprecated quests to kill the most honored and dishonored player of the week. My initial understanding of this was that, like, the entire system is going to be removed, but I think this is more about removing the quests from anyone who still has it. I'm not quite positive about this one. It's kind of a shame. I still like the idea of this quest existing, but... And... this, when I read into it, it makes it so... If I have this correct, warriors, when they do disarm, it just does disarm. There's no damage effect with it. It has a cooldown, and all it does is disarm the opponent. If you're a rogue, though, with Riposte, it disarms, and it does damage. It's actually an important part of like a more defensive playstyle with rogue. And as I'm sure many of you are aware, because of like a free action potion will make you immune to Thunderclap. Thunderclap does damage, right? But because you're immune to the stun portion, you're immune to the damage. So this is happening to rogues who would parry something that didn't have a weapon, and then they go to riposte, and it did no damage. It's so frustrating. So I think this is what that fix was for. Son, that was actually a change from the previous week, which, I mean, I think that makes sense. That's fine. It's a little, I mean, I don't know why a warrior could or would want to disarm, like, a bear. I do know as a rogue, I want the ability to do damage with riposte. I don't care if they're disarmed or not necessarily, but I think that's a good move. Yeah, I mean, so if you disarm an enemy, I believe the disarm effect just makes, like, their attack power just go down significantly. Generally, I think that's all it does. In my headcanon, I'd like to think that a riposte would, like, hit, like, a nerve cluster, and like their arm would be all like, ugh, I can't hurt you as much now. Yeah. This one. Fix teleporting to Horde cities from Moonglade during the Lunar Festival. Well, Murog, who is like a holiday quest fiend, she remembers all the stuff about the quests from holidays. And she told me, because I didn't remember this, she's like, yeah, every year since we've been on the server, the Horde portals never worked. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, nah, that can't be true. She's like, yeah, it's totally, like, so those little beams of light you see, the Alliance, you could just use your thing to go back to that city. Horde, it just never worked. Huge if true. I didn't test it, but they said they fixed it, but it's the first time it's been fixed in a while, I guess, is my understanding. So, this one, I did get confirmed. It's like a I think like a 20-25% buff to health and damage dealt. For some groups, this is a noticeable difficulty increase. There are some bosses in there that even with really well geared groups could take significantly longer and might even be a little deadly. To groups that are like progging Blackwing Lair, this could be killer. I'm not sure how the community's received this, but it is interesting. I think it's warranted given the level of gear you can get from there. I think the difficulty is warranted, but it does feel weird that it's been at this difficulty this long, and now the team's like, you know what? Lower care is too easy. Let's make it a little harder. Yeah, see, look, Lizzie Babs saying, so I heard from people in my guild who did do Kara after the boost, but they were all like Nax Bist geared out of their mind. They're like, yeah, we kind of noticed it, but it wasn't a big deal. But again, like if you're not in that situation, that'd be pretty tough. The imp hallway's always been tough. By the way, if you're a shaman, that is the time you don't drop Wind Fury, because Grounding Totem will save someone's life. But when you're waiting for your next Grounding Totem, you still drop Wind Fury. Yeah. Trying to see if there's any... Because I did look over some of these to see if I could find out anything else about them. I think... Oh, did I talk about this one? If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. This is in the radio news, and I have to share this story if I haven't already. So, it's fixed, so I'm going to talk about it, but I heard about this behind the scenes, and it's one of those situations where I don't like exploiters. I don't think most people like exploiters. People that are like cheating full mechanics of bosses. But sometimes when you get so creative or weird with it, you just kind of sit back and go like, all right, that's pretty good. So this exploit, as I understand it, the first person to pull, oh, I did do this because I drew the little diagram. I remember it now. But for anyone that missed it, I will repeat myself. The first person who pulls Cthulhu you're the only thing on Cthulhu's aggro table. He's going to send every little nature lightning thing at you. However, if you just take a portal right after aggroing him, Cthulhu is like dumbfounded and frustrated that he can't shoot you. Therefore, he stops using that ability for the rest of the fight. At least for phase 1, I believe. If you've done Cthulhu, you do know that the eye laser beam with like little random chaining is like the most deadly and, chaotic part of the fight. Probably the most difficult. And a team is just like, yeah, but what if they just like portaled somewhere? Yeah, so that's what that one was all about. It's been, I think it might be such that you cannot use portals while in combat. I don't know if that's true, but I think that that would be the most sensible fix. You never know with the turtle team. Sometimes they don't do sensible fixes. Sometimes other things break. We'll find out in a month. And I think we went over this stuff. I don't think any of it got massively changed. I'm still reeling my tiny orc brain from like healer get haste. What healer do with haste? But I think I'm wrapping my mind around it finally. And yeah, nothing too much here. I will double check to make sure they haven't put up a where is this? I'm just temporarily putting that away for a second. I'm going to see if they have the new patch notes and changelog. Hold on. Oh, they do! They do! Rejoice. There we go. Oh, sorry. Just bumped the mic. Okay. So, changelog hot off the presses. How many changes? Oh, not too many, not too many. All right, great. The quest to slay Omen is no longer auto-completed on pickup. Nice. Just pick it up. Oh, you're done the quest. Thanks. Didn't really feel like much of a quest. Fixed an issue where insignia briefly made the user immune to spells and effect. Insignia. I don't think I know what that's referencing. I'll research that one later. Lower Karazhan Hall. Skitterweb eggs are now immune to all crowd control effects. The Skitterweb eggs, if I remember, are part of the spider boss down there? I'm in a place of privilege. Every time I've done Kara, we've just blasted through the spider before the eggs even hatched. Maybe that's a thing now? It's a shame, because this is actually a situation where like a druid could use slumber, and it might actually be warranted, but... Thank you. Arambaud, you are probably right. Briefly made the user immune to spells and effects. That is actually a huge change for PvP, if that was happening. Thanks for the cue in there. Fixed an issue where engineering target dummies appeared hostile to their owner. I did notice after some recent update they did that the nameplates on certain things were looking a little janky. I think they fixed it, but... The spell Turn Undead is now considered a holy spell rather than nature. Damn. I didn't realize paladins had jank like that. All right. Elun's Blessing quest should now be completed when Omen dies. Man, I guess the Lunar Festival rollout had more issues than I knew about. The quest Reverence for the Ancestors for the Lunar Festival is now classified as a raid quest. Well, that's fair enough. Fix an issue where power type for distant group members was displayed incorrectly. Okay. Range attack power now contributes to priest bow attacks as expected. For those unaware, Night Elf priests, specifically as a class racial, have the ability to use bows. Range attack power now contributes to priest bow attacks. That I would expect that. Grats. Grats, Night Elf. I'm sure there are some... There's got to be some like smite priest who's like trying to make it work something special with a bow and arrow, but I like the flavor of it, so I think it's pretty cool. PLU, that there is a world where that could happen, but it's going to be like locked to priest only, and you'll be so sad. Fix an issue where warlock minions would be resummoned if the warlock died while under the effect of Eye of Kilrog. Also, not sure who's been... It looks like Turt Reynolds has been the one doing this. If that's true, kudos to you. I really love when the associated bug that's being fixed is noted in the bug report. When I do research on these things, it saves me a whole step. So thank you for that. This seems kind of wild, but... Immolation Trap will now correctly work with Stinging Nettle talent once again. I remember seeing something about Stinging Nettle. I think that's like a survival thing, and it does something with their poison. That's cool, because I'm pretty sure survival does like all sorts of crazy stuff with traps. If Stinging Nettle wasn't working, that probably was a bummer. You can no longer set your guild house location to Volata Zilmbu. Volatala. Volatala. Volatala? Who is this? I don't know who this is. I don't know what that is. This looks like some night elf shenanigans. But that location makes me think that it's in Moonglade? Huh. I'm not sure why that specific one was blacklisted. Interesting. Fixed not being able to enchant red Defias mask. Okay. Fixed Solnius adds not always staying in combat with players. This was a fix for groups doing Emerald Sanctum that would, I think, use a hunter and some cheese, a healthy amount of cheese to just make Emerald Sanctum somehow quicker again. Yeah. Oh, thank you, by the way. Haxer says, that's the Dancing Troll Village. Okay. Why did they have an innkeeper? I thought they were just window dressing, kind of like the dwarves fighting the dragons when you fly from Stormwind to over Burning Steppe. Anyway, this was just a fix so people can't just skip trash with shenanigans. Good for you guys. Fixed not being able to interrupt encasing webs. Man, look. How many things have encasing webs? Encasing webs. Well, that doesn't tell me who uses it. I think this might be at least from mobs and Silithus. I kind of wish it would just tell me who uses the spell. Go to Wowhead, will it tell me? Oh, no, sorry, it's, Crypt Beasts and stuff, and Strathholm. Okay. Fair enough. Scarlet Spellbinders should no longer fall below the tower. If you've tried to farm up the Crusader enchant, first off, good luck. That place is pretty much 100% camped. But there were like all sorts of terrain issues and stuff. The place, I don't know. I think it's like cursed. I just wouldn't go there for long. Hopefully whatever they did fixed it. And I'm not joking, like the terrain would start glitching out for like no reason. I don't understand it. I'm just don't go there. And finally, range shot. Range shot should no longer be affected by spell pushback. All right, range shots should no longer be affected by spell pushback. So maybe this is like if you have a talent for spell pushback, you could just keep shooting your bow. I mean, you can do that with wands, but yeah. So Spigot, so you know what I'm talking about. There are some like cursed places that I don't know why they're like that, but once you find them, you're like, I need to go. I don't want to be here. This place is scary. Wonderful. So, that's it. That's it for the... Hold on, wait. I'll do this one. That's what we had for the news this fine evening. Were there any questions, comments, concerns? I'll take requests if there's some sort of market data you want me to look up. If there's I do have my, well, now I have my notepad open. If there's any notes or anything you want me to ask around about, let me know. I can throw that in the old handy dandy notepad and see what I can stir up about it. Generally, I will ignore things like buff paladins or something within that vein. Where in the world were we hosting the news today? We're hosting in this, from my hovel in the Barrens. With all my Bulbasaur friends. And yeah, if we clear everything up, then maybe I could do a dungeon or something. I'm feeling a little spicy. I could do some content. Okay, PLU asks, plans to increase scaling of infused gem. Any love for spell hunters? You know what I'm gonna do, honestly, first with this is I'm probably gonna go to class channel and I'm gonna go bug the hunters about this and see if they know something first. But I'll ask about this. Dalgo, Ogre playable race when? I don't think it's in the cards anytime soon. Although I would like Ogre, yes. No questions, but thanks for informing and chill stream. As always, Tony Pro, thanks for dropping by, friend. I will remind everyone too, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, do that. It helps the streams and stuff get more visibility. If you're watching on Twitch, remember to follow, and I think I'm still partnered. I'm still getting Prime, so if you have Prime you want to drop, more power to you. And all that other good marketing stuff that I really don't care for. But do you think they'll be updating Amani Allure soon? So, Blessed, I don't know specifically about Amani Allure. Thank you, Dago. I do know that much of their efforts are being focused on, as far as like troll stuff, right? Zulamon is further out, but I know there's a lot of work being done on that. I do agree Amani Allure needs to be updated. Just between you and me. Just between you and me, Blessed. I have beaten this horse to death about giving the horde some love. I got some pushback because I've maybe rattled one too many cages, so I'll let you know, but I'm probably not going to bother too many team members about it. But trust that I've asked the question many times. Thanks, Doggo. Can you ask if they have any intentions to add spell scaling on more proc weapons or improve procs permanent on some current ones? I can ask about that. I mean, if I'm being honest, Caletius, proc weapons seem to be a bane of their existence, but just because something gets broken and then they have to fix it and then everyone's sad that they fixed it, it seems to be a cycle. But I know what you mean. Any love for proc-based weapon playstyles? Now, I know there's a lot of people in the Paladin community that like that. I imagine Hunter as well. So, and maybe Shaman too. I can ask about it. I haven't been looking expressly for that. I just know that it's a sticky wicket to try to balance game stuff around that. Revert orc racial back. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I don't see that as happening. The orc racial was very strong. It's still strong, but I mean, you'd also have to say which one. Do you mean hardiness or blood rage? I was thinking about hardiness. I think I'm fine with the hardiness change, but blood rage it's nice for the caster orcs. I will say that. At least they got something. It's very bizarre to me that not only are there twice as many new reputations for Alliance, but also the Reventus reputation towards equivalent is just on the high elf reputation. Spigot, I want you to look at me. Almost the exact same words have come out of my keyboard and come out of my mouth directly in front of the parties interested in those considerations. What I've been told, in the most diplomatically seething way, is we're aware, we're doing what we can to rectify it. That being said, and me being a little petty, because I love the Horde as a player, Amani Allure has technically only become worse since I've joined it. If you actually believe that. We used to have Zul'jin? Oh, did I mix it? There's the one-armed guy. He used to be hanging out in Amani Allure. He's gone now. He had a cool quest. Now we don't have that cool quest. Amani Allure has actually gotten worse since I've started playing on the server. So, trust that message has been sent already. I bring no news. The Bear Mount is pretty cool, though. Very popular opinion. Hand of Ragnaros needs at the very least 50% spell power scaling. Coletius, I don't think it's that controversial. I think the real shame with the Hand of Ragnaros is that it's so obscenely expensive for something that is not that good comparatively. Many people just get it as a trophy item, which, don't get me wrong, I think that's completely valid, but at the same time, I'm like, you know how many Blood of the Mountain? Oh, okay. Ugh. No thanks. I assume they are saving a lot of the troll stuff for Zul'Aman proper. Exactly, Redrani. That's yeah. I don't even remember when they removed him from Amani Allure, but that might have been right around the time they're like, oh, hey, if we're doing Zul'Aman, we need to get him out. And PLU says, give Thunder Fury spell power scaling for my... Listen, okay. I could understand you wanting to do spell power hunter, but listen, Thunder Fury is a quest about elemental lords, and shamans can't use it. Think about that. There's not even like a variant that we could use. If you're an elemental shaman, do you know how many legendaries are available to you? There's no reason to have sulfurous, right? None. It's a melee weapon. It's meant for melee damage. There's no real spell power on it, not like other weapons. Thunder Fury? Nope. AT-ish? Nope. Scythe of Elune? Nope. And you're over here trying to greedily gobble up more Thunder Fury stuff for Hunter. Get out of here. Stop that. No. Justice for the shaman. Please. Give me a Forsaken rep located in the Undercity sewers. Blessed. Listen, if I could hire you onto the team, if I was in charge, done. Also, that's so awesome. Thunder Fury crits with spell crit. I'm just saying, it doesn't crit, I don't believe. Maybe it does? Anyone check that? I'm not actually sure. I was pretty sure it didn't crit. I could be wrong. I have Thunder Fury on my rogue, so I don't remember seeing 600 pop up. Tony Pro, when will Kara 40 come out? I don't know. I know last I snooped, they were either testing or finishing testing. I don't know. I do know, by the way, Akalix and I are on the same page on this one. I was bugging him recently, like, hey, anything about Kara 40? And he's like, if I had anything to give you, I would. I've been asking too. And I'm like, okay. So. You should inspect my hunter to really enjoy a beautiful sight. PLU, listen, I'm going to jump in game. I don't know. Well, I do know one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to get some more water. And I'll jump in game. And if you want to find me in game, I'll inspect you. I can even give you the full, like, sassy fashionista fashion review if you really want it. Do you think they will buff the older raids when Kara comes out to accommodate how more powerful we have become with this class? So son, I do want to say that there's actually still, like, a pretty reliable progression arc. So the reason to do Molten Core as you get gear becomes less and less as you get more gear, but there's still some reason to do it. Same thing for BWL, but maybe a little more so. There's like a couple other like trinkets, right? AQ40, same thing. Nax. I think the difficulty there should remain. This is just my view, by the way, but I think it's okay if some of the raids are easier than others, so that when players hit 60, there's like a progression route. There's like, oh, you do work in Molten Core, you get to hear that story, you do BWL, you do that story, you know. I don't think there's necessity to make them harder, like right now. You know, maybe some bosses might be fun with some difficulty twists, but there's so many creative minds in Turtle WoW, I feel like they'd rather tell more stories than rehash old ones, if that makes any sense. Do more fashion show commentary. Listen, I know they're fun. I know you guys love the fashion show stuff. I sweat out of my skin. I get so stressed about those things. I would do them more often. I swear I would. If they didn't stress me out so much. Yeah, no, son, I think those are valid. No, it's a number of things, right? So, Son says, personally, I feel like things have been pretty trivial since Class Council 2, or class change. Maybe it's just me, though. I feel like threat isn't nearly as... Sorry, I just lost it. Threat isn't nearly as important, and healers are way more powerful without much gear, etc. So, I would agree that, by and large, I think the power scale did get bumped up a little bit. But you have to also remember that some of that is because now there's also other ways of playing. So, or old problems were remedied. So, let me give you an example that I'm very well versed in, right? Shaman. So, a shaman in Classic or Vanilla, doing Elemental was pretty much insane because you could not sustain the mana. Enhancement, also difficult because you could not sustain the mana. Resto, if you stacked enough MP5, maybe you could sustain the mana. Now, I think the shamans all came in agreement during class counts and were like, So we should do something about mana management, maybe being like a little better because it really stinks right now. So, right. So then when class changes came in, it was like, hey, like what's the big pain point for this class, this spec, etc. So a lot of the classes had their big pain points remedied. So now when you raid as a shaman, even in like molten core level, you might be able to have some mana sustain. And you might be able to do the thing that your class would be able to do by the time you get to AQ40 and Nax with enough gear. This, however, has the perhaps unintended effect of making shamans seem way more powerful. They actually were always powerful, it's they were hamstrung by mana. And that literally made it sometimes impossible to play, and certainly not fun to play. In many circumstances, where you could literally watch a paladin hit the same heal button and never run out of mana, while you have to go to raid with like 40 mana potions and 60 T just to get through the day. So yeah, things got easier for shaman, and now they're more powerful for it, but the game is more fun. And I would also agree with that sentiment that I think maybe now that the game's a little bit more, you have a little bit more wiggle room. Yeah, I think it's fine to up the difficulty on some things. And we've actually seen some of that with Lower Kara, actually. So maybe we'll see more of that. It'll be interesting to see, but I don't know if I think the changes are good, but like broadly. There's some that are kind of stinkers, but it's a living game. It's a lot like old vanilla WoW. Some changes are just going to be stinkers, but I think it's a very nuanced thing, and in time, I think we'll get there. Right now, it's very much in the player's favor, and the team has the onus to make stuff difficult in some way, and, you know, it's going to keep going back and forth. And that is the ebb and flow of game design. That was a real long rant. I'd be fine with hard mode for raids if it was purely for like cosmetics or roll on existing drop tables for extra time, but I could imagine if it would be too tough to balance for minimal benefit. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Not everyone plays for the same reason. You have to make those incentives so people can enjoy the content you've worked on. That'll always be a perennial problem. PLU, I'm lost. This isn't talks of how to buff spell hunters. I'm sorry, PLU. Red Draenei, one of the hardest things to balance is difficulty versus fun. Brother, you said it. Or sister, I'm sorry, I don't know you. But you are a Draenei, which don't exist. So I don't know what to do about that. Sipsy, I just want a melee priest. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to tell you for real, Panda P. When, what was that spell? When Inner Fire lost melee attack power, I think that was the last vestige of it gone now forever. I'm sorry. Shadow Oil, yep. Melee Priest didn't really have any place to fit in existing vanilla trees. That's true. It does have a place to fit in the lore. It just doesn't have a tree to fit in. Unless you truly want to be absolutely bonkers and make a melee... You know how almost all the hybrid classes have like a one spec that can do two things? You'd have to make one of them do like the monk thing with like the little bow staff, and I don't know about that. It fits lore-wise, but I think design-wise, that's a nightmare. And I actively worked on Shaman, so take that with a grain of salt, but I've seen some pretty nightmarish class designs. The original Blizzard developers left classic Shaman in shambles. So, you've seen a Draenei multiple times? Yeah, but was that Draenei just cherry pie as a GM? You've seen broken ones. You have not seen a Draenei. Yeah. I love Cherry so much. That is like literally the only thing I'd ever ask of her. I'd be like, hey, you gotta stop showing up as Draenei. You're gonna give these kids thoughts that Draenei exist. And I don't like space goats. As far as I know, it should have been the melee monk, but exactly, Coletius. That was exactly what happened during development. The real move would be adding Broken to the Horde in the greatest move of Green Man's Burden. I could see Broken, however, Blessed, even in the established Turtle WoW lore, which adopts much of the previously established lore, the Broken and the Orc, not big fans of each other. It's sort of like Sylvanas allying with a troll. So it kind of stretches credulity. It's already happened once, but I'm not saying the Broken aren't a worthwhile race. I just think that is a huge story hurdle to get around because it's at least been established. If you listen to the radio show, the Mire Beast, part of the tension of that show was that they encounter a Broken in the harborage. And one of the characters is an orc who's like, I know what the Broken are. And the Broken's like, I know what orcs are. And it was pretty tense. But, so, the understanding is the orcs, before they left Outland, killed all the Broken. Or mostly. For various reasons. I mean, maybe it might be hard to be like, decimate my whole population. Let bygones be bygones. It's not generally how thinking people's work, but okay. Hey, wait, she didn't ally with the undead? No. Medic, what I'm referring to is Sylvanas lived all of her life until she became a Banshee as a high elf ranger of Silvermoon, whose most hated and bitter enemy were trolls. That enmity carries over to her undead self. If you've done the quest where the Amani Allure trolls want to get formal acceptance into the Horde, one of the big stopping blocks is Sylvanus, who's like, oh, you want the forest trolls in the Horde? That's a no. And of course, Thrall's like, well, we need unanimous consent, so sorry. So if you're ever doing any Horde questing, check out the Amani Allure stuff. The quest chain to see about the Amani Allure coming into the Horde is really fascinating. It really helps you understand the perspective of the different races. Haxer, I mean, like, obviously I'm partial because Murag was a voice actor for it, but, like, genuinely, if you guys haven't caught the Mire Beast, which I think is on the radio, YouTube now, as, like, a little video you can play, it genuinely is just a really good radio drama. Very well voice acted, great music, like, no notes. So, check it out if you can. Yeah, so Red Draenei, let me see, give me a second here. I want to make sure I get the address right. Ever look. Oh yeah, I can show that. All right. So right here, Everlook Broadcasting Co. Search. Oh, sorry. You guys can see that, right? Oh wait, I see that. Never mind. Right here. This is the station you want to search for. You can even search for Everlook Mire Beast, and this is the show right here. It's 32 minutes. The whole radio drama's on here. You can listen to it whenever you want. give them a thumbs up. Subscribe to them. They make like really good content a lot. Like obviously some of it's going to be like more of your, you know, this is me doing a look under the shell with Akalix and Dan or someone, you know, but the radio dramas and stuff like that I think is much more compelling. So I'd love some more Caverns of Time dungeons. Yep, I would too. But like stuff we haven't seen in the lore and retail. I'd love there to be the sacking of Kel'Thalas. Yeah. Disguises as high elves fighting back Scourge. That would be pretty fun. And I say that as someone who doesn't really care much for elves. I think they're very overplayed and overwrought. I mean that with respect. I just mean like genuinely that there's just a lot. I guess it's because people like them a lot. I get it. But it's just perspective, I think, that I think's been played on a lot. You know, like Tolkien elves from other fantasy like IPs, like the notion of a long-lived race who's lost something great. Elves, or sorry, the Eldar in Warhammer 40k. It's a very tired trope for me. It's not that it's bad. It's just like I'm like I get it. Yeah, I understand why they're popular too. Seeing proper vanilla Highborn without retail influences could be neat. When you say proper Haxer, what do you mean? Is like the art off? Are they supposed to look really weird? Haxer says, Eridar and Broken had nothing in common before TBC. That was a retcon. Yep, that's true. Not enough trolls? Oh, there's plenty of trolls. Me brother. Evan says, yeah, of course, yeah. Broadly presented in fantasy as human plus, so they're very popular. Yeah. I think my first character I ever made on WoW, like way back during like TBC, original TBC, was like a blood elf hunter. The appeal, I get the appeal. Gnomes master race. Gnomes have strangely grown on me. I don't know why. I don't really play any. I was like, oh, it's a gnome. No, like a Caverns of Time dungeon. Yep, that would be great too. I mean, there's so much promise and open room for narrative that I mean, like, just a huge fan of what's going on with Turtle WoW. You know, like, okay, so, you know, they completely gutted rogue tanking. All right, well, I just played something else. That's okay. I still play Vrograg. You know, I'm not completely beholden to just wanting to always sweaty min-max one way. Like, there's so many different ways to interact with the game that I'm like, I took it in stride when it happened. It's still bitter, though. Haxer says, my original character was a troll shaman. Really? Much respect. Much respect. All right, I said I was going to get water like 15 minutes ago. I'm still going to do that. I will be right back. When we jump back in, I'll probably hop on. I don't know when reset might actually be very soon, but I probably have like maybe an hour before Murat gets home. So maybe we can get up to some trouble. I will be right back. And I'm back. Just setting everything up. Maybe make it a little bigger. Or not. Okay. Oh yeah. I'll throw out a poll. Who should I play? Vrograg, Shibiji, or Obama. Gotta spell that right. Oh, that's why I got water. Okay, the poll's up on the YouTube. I'll throw one up on Twitch. Who should I play? Vrograg, Rogue, Shibiji, Mage, Bumswin. Alright, let that run for a couple minutes. Let's see where we're at. Oh, interesting. That's what my chat looks like when I do that. Why? Why does it do that? Oh, was that one? Is the Shami that way? Oh, Pluk Bao San. Hello. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the Prime. Appreciate that. I will. I've taken it. Thanks. Oh, that my favorite spell hunter? I don't think I have any other spell hunter. So you are both my least favorite and most favorite. I mean that means something, right? About a minute left on the poll. Oh yeah, now that you're subbed on Twitch, you get all my stupid emotes. I don't even remember making these, but they're here. What about spell rets though? What about them? Oh, I see. I'm getting in on a conversation that happened while I was gone. My bad. I am curious to ask some of my more wizened hunter friends, like what's the deal with spell hunters? Because I don't know. Okay, we have one vote on Twitch, which is Obamswin. I will end the poll on YouTube. It looks like I'm playing Obamswin. With probably close to 70% of the votes if I added them all together, which I didn't. Oh yeah, I need to make that go away for a second so I can put in my details without all of you knowing what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, sure. No problem. Parody. It's Parody, why do you gotta do me like that? Why do I have to be the one to invite someone to a guild named Parodies? You're in the gray area for someone I might otherwise report for having a sus name. You're lucky I know you though. Sorry, I have to welcome them to the guild. Enjoy the madness of this gear. All right, I'll take a look. Oh, is this the Spell Hunter? Let's take a look. Okay, Striker's Diadem. Yep, that's okay. I think I'm starting to pick up what you're doing here. Attack power, and you have some crit on some spell power. Presters. You can't not take Presters. Presters is so good. Strikers. Okay. Cloak of the Fallen God. Nice. And I don't know enough about Hunter, but you are seeming to be using the set that does give you a bunch of agility and spell damage. Oh, that's just your shirt, right? True Fight Gloves. I see you put spell power on them, though. Okay. Gauntlets of Kalimdor. Yeah, those are like enhancement shaman gloves, I think. Yep. Normally, anyway. Primalist linked waist guard. I used this on my elemental shaman for a long time. Now, if you were dedicated, maybe you wouldn't put agility on them and you'd put more spell power. Because you can do that. Or wait, no, you put int. Oh yeah, I guess agility would probably end up being better for you. Striker's leggings, okay. Worm scale stompers, yep, another enhancement shaman special. Band of servitude, okay. I feel like you could probably scam someone out of better rings than these. But you put agility on one of them at least. Yep. ZHC, okay. DFT. Oh. Really? Okay. So this is a legit weapon. This is a legit spellcaster weapon. 72 damage and 1 crit. All right, I'm seeing the dedication, and I feel like you could do better. You got to do better, right? It's like next to this, it feels gross. I mean, they both have crit, right? But I wonder what you could do with this. Hunters have a lot of weapon options, so. And Urubian Slave Maker, okay, yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting walk down Insanity Lane, I would say. Most weapons with spell power are main hand, though. I guess that's true. Huh, I never thought about that. Yeah, actually, yeah, I can actually think of it. That's actually a good point, Haxer. You can probably get an offhand that has spell damage, though. Okay, here's my question, though. You have no spell hit. How do you deal with spell hit? You must get a lot of resist, no? Ancient Karaji Ripper. Yeah. Oh, you got the Gloves of Primordial Burrower? Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It has piqued my curiosity. Your spells use regular hit? What? Why? That's crazy. Let me show you something. I'll show you something on stream. Your spells use regular hit, which, as an elemental shaman, it leaves me a little frustrated. So, I've made this this complaint. It might be in bad faith because elemental shaman are doing okay for damage. It's not that big of a deal, but hunter pets and warlock pets both have talents now that allow them to get hit and spell penetration from their character. Now, here is a epic level training dummy. I'm going to hit it with Flame Shock. And I'm going to put down this bad boy right here. Observe the resists. Oh, I mean, you started off by not resisting. What's going on? I see, okay. Now, I have plenty of hit. My totem doesn't seem to know that. It doesn't hit with the melee hit table. It doesn't hit with the spell hit table. It just does its own thing. And I get to watch all these resists happen. I could be 16% spell hit. I'm still going to get tons of resists. Oh, yeah, no, Hackshaw, I completely understand. But it's sort of, it's weird to see someone wearing that much spell gear and then not have to consider hit. It's not that bad, honestly. I had a great night last night doing Nax with Obomsawin. Probably one of my better raid nights ever, actually. I hit like 12 and some change on patchwork. I had really good trash parses. I think I had one of my best ever Nubricons. It was a sub 2 hour run, which is always a nice thing in my guild, which is pulled itself out from obscurity to. I'm still in combat. Why am I still in combat? Let me leave. Please let me leave. Come on, I just want to do plain striding. Come on. It's not letting me. No, I didn't leave a totem there. I waited till it ran out, and I hit totemic recall before I left. Okay, now it's gone. Did I leave another, like a different totem? No, it would have showed up here. It's still up and resisting. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think the classes that didn't get any alternate gear, hunters and rogues, their classes, I think, turned out pretty well from the changes, which I kind of find ironic. Rogue still has issue. Like, I'm sure hunters have issues too that I just don't know about, but all specs of rogue can do something. Combat's never felt better than ever. Combat's never felt so fun. There's multiple ways to play assassination, and there's all sorts of memes over in subtlety. I like where rogue's gone. Kings is overrated, as is Salvation. I was born on the main streets of Orgrimmar. I don't need that. You know what you do in the Horde when you pull threat? You go to the tank spot and die. Do you know what they do in the Alliance? They run away like cowards. Now we bubble. And I think coming out of Classic, the amount of people who played Horde on Classic and then come and then play on Turtle, and almost every time someone's like, wait, Alliance had Salvation, Blessing of Wisdom, and Kings, and it wasn't group wide. And you can feel in the air the teeth grinding from the frustration. but pressure makes diamonds. You know what I'm saying? I wish I was good at PvP so I could meaningfully say something witty about the Rogue Paladin matchup. My understanding is that a Rogue can win every matchup. The hard ones you have to absolutely be degenerate about, though. We're doing Sunny tonight? I can queue for Sunny. I can queue for it. If anyone else wants to queue up for it, I'm down. I have no idea what happens when I'm there still, but I'll queue for it. Where is it? It's the thing that looks like... No, that's Group Finder. This one. Okay, I'm queued. Sunnyglade Valley. The favorite battleground of Vrograg, obviously. Because no one goes there. Where was I gonna go? I'm on Bomb Swing. Oh, you know what? I am interested in finding this Spirit of Wisdom person. So I think what I'm going to do... Did I get the invitation? I didn't yet. Wait a minute. Let me check my DMs. Hold on. Wait, I said I would do something. Okay. I have to stream from 4. Okay, we did the 4 to 3 hours and 4. But then, okay, all right. So Les Croquants, the Francophone Guild on Nordinar. I was talking to some of their people outside of Nax yesterday. Just saying hi, being friendly. Catalypse was out there. I knew Catalypse from like an old news story I did. And we were just chewing the fat. And they were saying that they were going to be doing just like some attempts on KT today. But they weren't sure if they were going to have enough people. And I'm like, I got 2 other pretty well tuned, like geared characters. If you want help, I'd be down to help. So I may be raiding with a bunch of people who English is probably their second language. We'll see how that goes. I must have done this. No? Okay, by the 8, and then by the 2. Oh, Panda P, you're doing the Warrior 0.5 quest chain? Is it any good? Like, is the gear good? I've done the 0.5 quest chain. It's also good, but... How do I see another question mark here? Wildfires in the Eastern Kingdom. Do I still have that quest? I do. It's the Midsummer quest. What am I doing? You know what? It's going to be summer eventually sometime, and I'm going to stroll up. I'm going to blow their mind. Okay, let's go here. So, oh wait, maybe, is there any breadcrumb quest here? Nope. Okay, none there. I don't know where the breadcrumb quest is for the Spirit of Wisdom is, but I'm gonna look around for it because I don't mind exploring. And yeah, PLU, I like Sunny Glade Valley because I think it looks nice, and it reminds me of like old Warcraft, but I do not know what's going on there. I know you have to like kill stuff. I can get my mind around that. To get sparks that you turn into the guy in the middle that then strengthen the guys that fight at the end, I think. A lot of it's like about middle control early on. Okay, this person here. The Great Spirit of Wisdom. Oh, what's this one? Yeah, I'm less interested in that. Let's try this one. Oh, you don't get the cool thing, but I still want to find the Spirit of Wisdom. The Great Spirit of Wisdom. Greetings, traveler, and a welcoming Lunar New Year. This time of year beckons for new aspirations, dreams, and ambitions we strive to achieve in the coming year. As such, it is important to reflect and listen to those that bear wisdom in their words and actions. My ancestors traveled throughout Kalimdor and met many mythical creatures and spirits. One of them, an unremarkable one for most, possessed the most profound insights there were. To this day, my tribe seeks this spirit for guidance in times of need. I want you to pay it a visit, to learn from its words and take them to heart. Nature whispers of its den. In the northwestern swamps of Dustwalla Marsh, you will find it. Okay. I got Hearthstones for days, because I'm a shaman. Jim Laglim? I don't know how to say your name. I'm just gonna call you Jim. Anyway, so they're not really portals, they're little spots of moonlight, I guess. And you can teleport to that associated city if you have your Lunar Invitation. Mine had a cooldown, so I didn't use it. Maybe on my way back, I'll try it or something. All right, so we want to go to Northwestern, right? I guess go to Brackenwall Village. Gemla Jim. You made it harder. Gemla Jim. It's hard because J's and G's. I love. Oh, j'aime la gym. Okay. Easy. Yeah, I need to suddenly remember all the French I learned in middle school years and years ago. If I'm gonna raid with Le Croquant. You know, the French that I also learned from a Québécois. Je m'appelle Vrograg. Oh, it'll be fun. I remember there's like this, I guess, phrase that means like so-so. It's like comme ci, comme ça. I just like saying that. I do not remember much though. don't. Not a Quebecois. All right. I mean, I live in northern New England, so Quebecois are like my neighbors. They're my northern neighbors. I've been to Old Quebec City before. They're fine, upstanding, industrious people who know how to drink and love to argue. Good people. That's been my experience of them where I live, though. Your results may vary. I'm in on terrible. I mean, sorry we have a crazy guy in office who threatened your whole country with tariffs for... this is a joke. Just kidding. Just kidding. My tariff. Up. Nope. Just kidding. What the I don't normally get very political, but like I was just like, what is going on? Hello, Rest in Beat. Yes, the mighty wielder of the relic from Klakora. I gotta say, I was so pumped you got that relic, like on that stream. That was so awesome. You love to see it, Rest in Beat. And now, I mean, the bond between Elemental Shaman and Boomkin is deep and real. For a long time in Classic or Vanilla, we were two equal parts of the we are out of mana. We were both wielders of nature power. Boomkins usually ended up in caster groups. They are the senior partner in the alliance, but we share in some of the struggles. Boomkins certainly have had a glow up on Turtle WoW. And I, for one, am happy for them. And they said northwestern Dustwallow Marsh, so that's northwestern. So like around here? We'll take a look. I have had multiple times when when I was not as well geared with Obamswin, I would be in a situation where I'd just be out of mana. I'd be like downrank casting stuff, and a friendly Boomkin would innervate me. And I'd have to kindly whisper them and be like, listen, your heart's in the right spot, but I have like no spirit. Like this is my raid gear, right? Am I raid gear for, yep. Let's see, spirit. Go to stats, base stats. You see how that number isn't green? That's just my base spirit. So I'm like, you should give it to a class with spirit. I respect you. I honor you for trying to give me something because I had no mana. But give it to a mage, give it to a priest, give it to another druid. I'm not it. I'll get like 3 ticks, and then I'll have like maybe a third of my mana bar. Yeah, I think they did, honestly. I've been tooling around with mages, and I absolutely love Frost Mage, Arcane's Insanity, and they made fire slightly more interesting, so I'm down. Oh, look at this little guy. His name is Enribi. Okay, Enribi, what wisdom do you seek to impart upon me? Neribi stares deep into your soul. Oh, jeez. Speaking to the frog, its gaze drifts into the bog behind you. If not told otherwise, you would have guessed that there were no thoughts behind its eyes. Yet before giving up, the amphibian spirit bloats itself up more and more before releasing a cacophony of croaks and ribbits. blown away, your mind is filled with visions of the world, some more ancient than others. After the crocophony, love that word, ended, the frog spirit resumes its stance and gazes off into the distance once more. Oh, I have to choose a reward. Yes, Genki. Indeed. Oh, that's a cute little quest. And I have all of these fireworks. Oh, that was so many fireworks. I thought it would just be like a couple. That's a lot of fireworks. Rest in peace. You're not the first person to ask. I'm sure you won't be the last. Let's see. When will I emotionally be ready for another TMOG competition? That's the question, right? I'd like to do one for like my channel anniversary at a minimum. And I think that happens in May? May, I think. I'm thinking of doing something in early March, but it's not going to be a TMOG competition. I kind of want to do something more PvP focused. I like going back and forth between the two. And also because PvP players exist, they're real people. I am motivating a lot of people around me for I'm so glad for that. Oh yeah, wait, what am I doing? I'm a shaman. I have unlimited hearthstones. Hi, Adamant. Okay, we're gonna go back. Wait. Oh, I did the quest. I'm already done. I gotta get rid of these. Oh, I need a launcher. Okay. No one look, I'm just gonna sell them. Did you know fireworks are made of copper? Undercut him. No, I would never. I already spent 1 gold for my next TMOG. Why? That's my question, Rested Beat. Why would you do that? You're never gonna get that gold back. Unless you win the next TMOG competition featuring Vrograg Fishlayer. Having to herd a bunch of cats while they ceaselessly fight for dominance in a completely arbitrary competition. I need to send some of this to Shibiji in preparation for her to go do KT, I guess. What else do you need? I'll get a couple mana potions. I mean, should I flask for it? I'll send the flask, but maybe I'll pretend like I don't have it. Telebim Delight. Yeah, probably Firepower. All these two. Blessed Wizard Oil, probably want that. I mean, Vrograg's better geared, but a mage is more useful in KT. You know what I'm saying? If you've done the KT fight, you know what I mean. Like, having that extra polymorph really helps for mind control. Having another rogue to clog up the melee lanes and die, it's, well. Yeah, I think she has some of her own consumes too, but... Oh yeah, Haxer, that's also after Nax. I also need to be ready to heal. Sometimes, if I die or I fall far behind, I have to use the swiftest potion to catch up. Nature protection potions, the regular ones for the tunnel before Gluth. Nature protection potions, because there's a couple bosses that do that. Shadow, obviously, for Lotheb et al. Fire for Faralina and... oh, what's his name? Thane. Arcane protection potions, just in case I'm on dead side during the Gothic fight. Lips, because despite all the help that shamans have been given with threat, a chain lightning that bounces 4 times, one of those tanks is going to get parried. Greater nature power, naturally. It's a joke. Elixir poison resistance. I usually just hand these out, but greater holy protection potion. Also useful for 4 horsemen. That's more of a meme, though. Potion of quickness. I use those occasionally. I'm sending that all to my bank. Lovely. What is really painful is using 2 of those wizard oils at a time because Hunter Chad life. That is true. I mean, you do get to use 2 oils and they would stack. I don't... wait a second. Wait. Shaman can't dual wield. Okay. In my mind, I'm like, wait, they can. I'm like, no, that's later. That's in like retail and stuff. I'm like, wait, what if I had 2 weapons? Oh, I should have sent those snowballs back. These are for CC and mind controls if the polymorph doesn't go off. Plox and snowballing is fun. It is fun. TBC shamans can? Yeah. Okay. I knew I wasn't crazy. I mean, I'm like the normal kind of crazy. Yeah, I think hunters are the only ones that can evidently dual wield spell power weapons. Can hunters use offhands? They must be able to use just like offhands. I think everyone can, right? There's got to be some good offhands for you guys. I don't know what they would be, but I know they're out there. So I wanted to show you guys something. If you go to Winter Spring, hope I didn't pick it up again, but there's a quest out there called A Warm Feeling, which lets you pick up tea with sugar. Tea with sugar is handed to you. Nowadays, it's a 1 cup has 5 uses. It's like a multi-charge item. If you, a keen viewer might see though that this says I have 0 charges. How can this happen? I am going to try to do that quest and then see what happens to this. Because right now, if I drink it, nothing happens. Like, even if I was missing mana or health. Gruzel, hello. Hello, I just started today. Is Enhancement Shaman still DPS or tank? I'm confused. It's both. It's a little... think of Feral Druids, how they can do DPS or tanking. I could show you kind of briefly here, too. Like, if you're doing enhancement for damage, you'd probably skip shield specialization. Totemic alignment helps your totems generate threat. You'd probably skip that. Or you can definitely take Thundering Strikes. Calming Winds reduces threat. So you see, like, as you go down the tree, you can pick what you're looking for to kind of get the spec you want. You could still take something like Ancestral Guardian, so you could maybe be stronger when you get hit by cleaves and stuff like that, but you wouldn't need to. But this is more of like a tank one. So some could fit both roles. Yeah. It fits both. You can figure a way out as you level up, if that is indeed what you're doing, to kind of make it work. Of course you never want to work. So Ploxin, Northern RT and tea with sugar are mathematically identical. The only advantage that they even technically stack the same now too. So there is no difference. Northern RT, you get 5 of them with 1 small dream shard, I think, and tea with sugar, you get doing a repeatable quest in Winter Spring. However, I contend that the one in Winter Spring's better because in Northern R, you have to spend money or spend time getting those shards to get the tea. So you're still spending time or money, right? When you do the one for tea with sugar, you get a bunch of eco guile, or the one that makes juju guile, and then you can sell the guile for big money. So I prefer doing that one. It might even be slower, but I don't care. So, PLU, the way guild bases work is that of the, I don't know, like 40 or so guild bases that exist, I don't know the exact number, only a handful, I think like 3 or 4, actually had innkeepers. The tabards for guild bases work, they just directly teleport you to a specific spot in the guild base. It's not actually a hearth. The Blackwing Guard did not opt to have a hearthstone put in, so there is no hearthstone available. Exact PLU, you get it. You can get multiple things. I mean, you can only get the Winterfall pots if you kind of veer off to one side and go to kill the furbolgs. The runners do intersect you though, but occasionally I do get those. Oh man, look at this. I have Ren buff. I'm gonna melt these suckers. Oh. Every time I run somewhere, it makes me so sad. At one point, the team said they were going to give us cow shoes to make plane striding faster. Technically, this isn't as quick as me just getting on a mount, I believe. It's slightly slower. So I'll get my Dawn Saber. Also, the herbal tea tastes like ass changed my mind. Listen, all I'm saying is that I'm all walk. I'm not talk. When I say I'm not really that into elves, I'm not that into elves. I would rather take the tea from a furbolg than an elf. I don't know what they did with it. How far can we really trust them? Think about it. I mean, in the lore, as recently as like 20 years ago, the night elves were like semi-feral, xenophobic, like creatures that lived in the forest. And we're just trusting them with stuff? Okay. Alright, you do you. Haxer, it's not about not wanting to run that far. If you ever have a Torn and you do the quest, Samantha Swifthoof tells you about feeling the air through your hair as you run. And it's a connection with the ancestors. It's not about getting from point A to point B. It's about that connection with the earth. Running is a celebration of life. But this is quicker. That being said, you know, The tiger does look pretty cool. I'm not going to take that away from the elves. The tigers are cool mounts. I'm sorry. They are. I think it's a nice flex on those dumb rogues. Am I right, guys? The funny thing is like in most fantasy IPs, tabletop games, other games too, like rogues are generally some of the most clever characters in like a party or like in some kind of a design. And you actually get to see some of that through what rogues have, like professions specifically that only they can get. So maybe they're not as bookish as like a mage or a warlock might be, but they're very clever and handy. So I don't think I would call them dumb. I would call them good looking, if anything. Dashing. Handsome. Deadly. You know, because like then there's like that, ooh, like he's dangerous kind of thing going on. And here's, yeah, all right. A warm feeling. See, this is a quest you pick up. You see, oh, sorry, you get 10 now. That changed. Interesting. Also, not only do you get the tea, you also get Timbermaw rep. If you do this a couple thousand times, you get exalted. No. I'm not mixing up orcs with a class. Because orc warriors, they're dumb. They are verifiably dumb. I can say that. You can't say that, but I can say that. You see, listen, I'm a true believer in herbal tea. The thing that is roughest about it is this run. You have to go from all the way here to all the way there, or there possibly. I think this is slightly closer. And I'm a skinner on this tune, so a lot of times people just leave dead animals around, and more free real estate for me. I think you only have to take down 10 of them. 10 of the Moonkin. But it has to be those ones. It can't be like the smaller ones here. I definitely think there's, even if you don't sell the eco, I think if someone in a more concentrated sense just kind of wandered around Winterspring and just got a bunch of eco and converted it into Juju, I think that's actually a decent gold farm. There's probably better ones out there, but not only do you get the drops from the animals, if you're a skinner, you also get leather, but the eco to Juju conversion rate being 1-to-1, you just need it in packs of 3. And when you sell them, it's pretty valuable. Like, look, this is almost a full stack, right? I have 19 out of 20, so this would be 3 gold for 20. You can pretty reliably get pretty close to that in a couple runs. Nope, not these ones yet. Oh, did it just increase the charges by 10 and not give a second tea? I think that's what they ended up doing. Low key, I think when the team said, hey, we were going to make the tea stack to 20, they might have forgotten how tea with sugar works. There was a glorious week where tea with sugar had unlimited charges. That was fun. Then it stopped. Nope, I got a bear friend. That's okay. Actually, I should probably change my gear up to my old crit gear here. Any second. Drop the comp. You know what? Fine. You really want to fight me? You're not even gonna get here. Come on. You're gonna. Yep, there it is. Good enough. You see how much loot it? Also, I never did this quest. It keeps. I'll keep seeing these. But you see how much loot that was on one mob? Are you kidding me? Oh, someone else knows about my secret. Oh, come on, man. Why's it gotta be crowded? Oh, I just hit myself with a snowball, because that's normally where I put Earth Shock. Why did I just hit myself? There it is. Obviously, I do that for the, as I'm not going to be, I could be doing interrupts, I guess, on KT, but I don't. Whole ass meteor comes down on you. Hate to see it. Oh, can I get more than one? Come on, let me get more than one. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do two. Oh, I did! Let's go! Yeah, I think I'm sorry, you need 20 tea leaves. So yeah, you do get, if they drop the ecos at a 1-to-1, which they don't really, but you get close to a full stack. I gotta keep electrified up. At least clear casting's working. That's nice. You know, now that clear casting and improved water shield the mana situation is a lot more comfortable for elemental. PvP news? No, nothing specifically. I have been annoying a lot of people in the team, reminding them about fixing the battleground queue issue. The only news I have on that front, if you are curious about it, is that the team knows about it, has a fix, and are testing the implementation of it. I think it's kind of annoying. It's not even annoying for me because I don't really PvP, but on behalf of the PvP community, I understand it's annoying because of how long the solution has come in creating and like existing. So I sympathize with the PvP community over that. Haxer, you can't gaslight me into saying clear casting wasn't broken. I was part of that chat, and it was confusing. It was hard to explain because it is a hard to explain issue. And then finally when we got it out, it's like, okay, but fix it. Are glove enchants only schools of magic for spell stuff, or is there a simple spell power one? There is no simple spell power enchant that I'm aware of. I believe every school of magic except for Holy is represented in them, though. Holy is a weird customer when it comes to enchants and spell power and stuff. That's true. Well, yeah, I was talking about specifically spell damage. There isn't like a generic spell damage. There's haste, there's threat to gloves as well. Technically, there's also weapon chains or something like that that makes it so that you can't be disarmed. I think those go on gloves. And I think are gloves one of the things that can be a leather kit can be put on? Maybe not. You generally wouldn't. Maybe there's a reason to, but yeah. Also, Dominar, if you are showing up late too, if you're watching on YouTube, it's set up like a live VOD, so you can just go back and watch it if you want to catch up with all the news. I won't be offended because I do this because I like the community and I like informing people and trying to be a good community advocate when I can. It's so sad when I go report some bug and the response I get from the spell devs is, oh, I see. That'll be more difficult. Exactly. There are some bugs that are like mind-bogglingly like difficult to fix. And it's for like really unintuitive reasons. And then sometimes problems that seem super complex are just like, oh, like someone put an extra colon somewhere. We'll fix that. And you never know what you're going to get. And that includes for solutions. Sometimes they come up with solutions that like break something completely unrelated. All the while, right or wrong, the community will bitch about it. Thanks, PLU. Here we go. I'm going to turn it in and look at the bounty. I got 11 wildkin. Okay, so if we split this in half, right, we assume 3 gold for a full 20 stack. That's 1.5 gold roughly right there. And I got these feathers, giant eggs, wicked claw, and I got tea. Which, by the way, I hope everyone's ready. I'm about to crash the server because I do have the Schrodinger's cup. It both exists and doesn't exist as a tea with sugar. Yeah, I mean, you have to remember, too, that PLU, sometimes some items, some gameplay styles, even some spells are just so niche that the people fixing them might not understand what needs to be fixed. And that causes problems, too. That's one of the things that I think was a positive of having a class council, because you could have really, veteran players who understood class mechanics, and some of the more strange niche cases like that could like explain to some of the devs like, no, it's like that because of this, rather than having to go through an ancient log of stuff from 2006 and try to figure it out from there. Okay, here we go. Server crash in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I would love to know what people think. When I open my bag, am I going to have a cup with 0 and a cup with 10? Am I going to have a cup with 9 and a cup with 1. Will the 0 entry be deleted entirely, somehow magically? Or some other thing? I would love to know what everyone thinks is going to happen. I didn't just... Guys, I figured out how to crash Telebim. I also hate TH Ball. I do miss you guys too. I haven't been playing as much Spirit. You already know how I just haven't played much on Telebim. I love the Telebim people though. Okay, here we go. Haxer thinks I'm going to be stuck with the 0 cup forever. We will see about that. Look at that. Oh, well. It says 0 charges, but it says 11. What have I done? It's not unique. It's tea with sugar, Haxer. This is before we had Northern RT, this is what raiders would grind out to get a bunch of because mana consumables. So it says 11. You know what? I will do a reload just to check. I knew something weird was going to happen. Full disclosure, I did clear my WDB before I started this session. Okay. So, I'm going to do another experiment. This says I have 0 charges. It also says I have 11 charges. One of them is lying. I can only use this if I am missing health or mana. So I'm going to put down a couple totems, and then I'm going to use this. What do you guys think is going to happen when I use this? Will I crash the Telebim server? Will I crash Nordinar? Could I possibly crash an SCA server? Will it become an infinite cup of ever-flowing tea? That would be pretty nice. I'm down with that one. Will it just go down to 10 charges? Or will it not work at all? No, PLU, be nice to Telebim. They're fine. Alright, here we go. I'm going to put down some totems just to drain some mana. Alright, I'm missing mana, so this should work. No charges remain. I just finished the tea with sugar quest. I also had a leftover mug that said it had 0 charges. I think when I completed the quest, something broke. Now I have a tea with sugar that says it has both 11 and 0 charges. Help? If you're the GM getting this, I'm so sorry. What are they gonna Oh, I should also say... It also doesn't work at all, even though I should at least have 10 charges. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I have 11 T items. Okay, that's good. Haxor, I like that. Have 11 tea with sugar with 0 charges. I think when I completed the quest, something broke. Now I have 11 tea with sugar with 0 charges. It also doesn't work at all, even though I should at least have 10 charges. Okay, yeah, that's gold. I'm not going to say I'm Vrograg. That would be abusing my privilege. I am mute. Sorry, my bad. I was just explaining that we might not find out what's going to happen with this because I need to log over to get ready to help on a KT attempt with the French Guild. Who knows? If you remember to ask me, do ask me. As I'm going to have to log off. I'm going to get a piece of mail that says you're an idiot. And you should have known better. They're not gonna buff stacks at 21. Come on. It's fine. Tea with sugar is already too strong as it is. You get all that free cash. But for everyone who hung out today, watched the news, thank you for dropping by. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Hope you learned something. To those people that followed or subscribed, like with Prime on Twitch, thank you. I really appreciate it. To anyone who subscribed or liked the stream on YouTube, thank you. I also appreciate that as well. Yeah, Haxor, there it is. If it's 11 with 0 charges. I think I'm going to be pretty busy tomorrow. I have a meeting with someone, a very important someone in the turtle team, about something very important. Maybe I'll be able to talk about it later. Probably not, though. They'd probably skin me. But until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Keep in mind that when you're playing video games, the object is to have fun. And if you're not doing that, just play something else. And as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge. Bye, guys.